Welcome to Advanced Practice, where we brew together excellence in mental health practice. When most people think about bipolar disorder, they think about mania. But clinically, mania is often not the phase of illness that causes the greatest long-term burden. Depression is. Many patients with bipolar disorder spend far more time depressed than manic. Bipolar depression is strongly associated with impaired functioning, unemployment, relationship instability, cognitive slowing, hopelessness, substance use, and suicide risk. In many cases, depression becomes the dominant experience of the illness itself. And despite decades of psychopharmacologic advances, bipolar depression remains one of the hardest problems in psychiatry. Part of the challenge is that bipolar depression does not behave exactly like major depressive disorder. Patients may present with hypersomnia, psychomotor slowing, emotional numbness, severe fatigue, irritability, cognitive dysfunction, or mixed symptoms involving anxiety, agitation, racing thoughts, and intrusive suicidal thinking. Some patients appear slowed down externally while internally feeling intensely activated and emotionally overwhelmed. And this complexity makes treatment difficult because the medications traditionally used for unipolar depression do not always behave predictably in bipolar disorder. Some patients treated with antidepressants appear to develop mania, hypomania, mixed states, irritability, or rapid cycling. Others improved significantly without obvious destabilization. And this inconsistency created one of the most controversial debates in modern psychopharmacology. Even today, clinicians continue to disagree about when antidepressants should or should not be used in bipolar disorder. And over time, several medications emerged as important options. Quetiapine became one of the earliest second-generation antipsychotics with strong evidence in bipolar depression. Unlike many earlier antipsychotics, quetiapine demonstrated antidepressant efficacy in addition to antimanic effects, helping reshape how clinicians approach depressive phases of bipolar illness. Another important development was the introduction of olanzapine and fluoxetine combination marketed as Symbyax. This became one of the earliest FDA-approved treatments specifically for bipolar depression and represented a major turning point in psychopharmacology. The combination paired olanzapine's antimanic effects with fluoxetine's antidepressant properties based on the idea that the antipsychotic component might reduce the risk of antidepressant-induced mood destabilization while still allowing treatment of depressive symptoms. As research evolved further, additional second-generation antipsychotics entered bipolar depression treatment. Lurasidone demonstrated antidepressant efficacy with a comparatively favorable metabolic profile for many patients. Cariprazine expanded options further through partial dopamine agonist mechanisms, while lumateperone introduced newer approaches involving serotonergic, dopaminergic, and glutamatergic modulation. Traditional mood stabilizers also remained central to management. Lithium continued to play an important role because of its maintenance benefits and anti-suicidal properties, while lamotrigine became increasingly valued for depressive relapse prevention and long-term mood stabilization. In bipolar disorder, clinicians constantly balance competing risks. Will this medication improve depressive symptoms? Could it worsen mixed features? Might it trigger mania? Will sedation impair functioning? Will metabolic burden create long-term medical harm? Is the patient struggling more with suicidality, cognition, anxiety, sleep disruption, impulsivity, or emotional dysregulation? There are rarely simple answers. Another important challenge is that bipolar depression often involves far more than sadness alone. Many patients experience profound cognitive dysfunction, executive impairment, disrupted circadian rhythm, reduced motivation, emotional instability, and persistent functional decline even between major episodes. Some clinicians now conceptualize bipolar disorder not simply as episodic mood instability, but as a chronic disorder involving energy regulation, biological rhythm disruption, cognition, and emotional processing itself. That broader framework helps explain why treatment can feel incomplete even when mood symptoms partially improve. A patient may no longer meet criteria for a depressive episode and still feel cognitively slowed, emotionally blunted, exhausted, or unable to function at their previous level. And this is where modern bipolar treatment increasingly shifts toward functional recovery rather than symptom suppression alone. Sleep stabilization, psychosocial rhythm regulation, psychotherapy, exercise, cognitive preservation, substance use reduction, and longitudinal relapse prevention all become essential parts of management alongside medication. Because treating bipolar depression is not simply about making patients feel less depressed today, it is about helping patients remain stable, functional, cognitively intact, medically healthy, and alive over years of illness. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us on Advanced Practice. In the next episode, we will move into one of the most controversial topics in psychiatry: antidepressants in bipolar disorder. See you soon.